thank you so much for coming this evening. My name is Laura Domandan Lee. I've seen you over a number of years, and we're here today for our quarterly block leader meeting. And tonight we have some very special guests, and I'm sure you will welcome them as I do for giving their time to come out and present what their new projects are in their departments. They've brought along their staff as well, and it's going to be a really great night so we can be in the know what's going on. It's always a good thing. I'm sure your neighbors ask you questions a lot, and what we're going to try and do is compile some of this information and send it right back out to you. As you can see, the City Channel is recording it, so for our friends who are unable to make it tonight, and if you want to review it later, we'll have a chance to do that. Once our program is put back together, they're going to do some editing with it. Just really quickly, welcome to our house at Quinlan. And I say our house, my buddy over here, Stephanie Torini, our neighborhood watch coordinator, and I moved here in November, and we're in the music room. Does anybody know where the music room is? Show of hands. Okay, music room. And what I like to say for the music room, for you to remember, it's my unique space in Cupertino. Yeah, music room. All right. So, my dear block leaders, come and visit us. We missed you. We loved seeing you at the senior center, but that's our new home, and it's closer to our division, and it's going to be great. We have space, and we also have usually great parking. So it's a very busy night, and we appreciate your making your time to come here. What I'd like to do is ask you really quickly if we can hold our questions to the very end. The way this is designed tonight is because we've invited all of our departments. We don't want to hold anybody up. There's so many individual personal questions that we've set up information tables around the room, and we've marked them with the department names. And so if you have questions of the individual departments, please talk with the staff who are going to remain behind, and we'll be happy to answer your questions. So again, this is a room full of communicators, which is our strength. I'm going to ask you to not communicate with your questions, okay? You're not going to be raising your hands this time because there's just too many of you, and we'd like to be able to give you the individual attention with your answers. And I'm going to help you along through that. Okay. So before I continue on, I would love to welcome our city manager, David Brandt. You can give a wave, David, and he's going to come forward and greet us. I also wanted to, before David comes up, I would love to thank my coworkers who helped to set up. They're amazing. Again, our city channel in the back. I have Stephanie Torini. I have Rochelle Sanders. I also have Fari Aberg, who came in really early, one of our block leaders. Fari, where are you? You're probably hiding. There she is, setting up over there. And thank you for that. We really, really appreciate your time. Okay, the order that we're going to go in tonight, we're going to start with the manager's office, of course. Recreation and Community Services, because our assistant director needs to move to another meeting. We're going to have Administrative Services, Community Development, Innovation and Technology, and Public Works. So without further ado, I'd like to welcome David Brandt.
Thanks, Laura. I always want to thank you. This is one of the best run programs we have, and due to your long-term dedication to it. And I want to thank you, and hope our block leaders appreciate the amount of work that you do for them to get them prepared and working their program for us. So thank you. So tonight we're having a great program for you guys. We want to give you sort of an overview of some of the programs that we're running and some of the services that we're providing that are, some of them are new, some of them are not. But just to kind of let you hear what we're doing and to ask us questions as we go. We're going to start with my office. My office runs a couple of programs, the sustainability program, and we run the communications program through our office as well. And then you'll hear, I think, as Laura said, from Recreation and Community Services, from our Administrative Services Department, which does our budget for us and does our HR and the like. Our Community Development Department that has some very interesting projects on the horizon. Our Public Works Department, which is constantly building new infrastructure and repairing our infrastructure for us. And then essentially our IT department that has transformed our operations from the 20th century pen and quill to the 21st century automation and software. So before I turn over to my Deputy City Manager, Jackie, just want to say that we continue to have an exceptionally good fiscal outcome compared to some of our neighbors. I think that's largely because we run a fairly efficient operation and we have a fairly healthy, oh, sorry. I'll just squat. We have we're in a relatively good fiscal situation because we run a very efficient operation, and also we have some very healthy taxpayers who are continuing to be healthy and hopefully will go on thriving for many years. But anyway, so I'm going to pass the baton off to Jackie Guzman to talk about the programs that we run out of my office.
I know, going from the tallest to probably the shortest tonight. So the city manager and the city manager's office manages city operations overall. We execute the council work program and policy priorities and ensure that the council adopted goals are being met in the city. We do have a few divisions under the city manager's office: the city clerk's office, public affairs division, and sustainability division. The city clerk's office builds trust and confidence by promoting transparency, engaging the community, providing accessibility to local government, and ensuring regulatory compliance. They manage municipal elections, they manage the records in the city, they keep track of the council actions, they facilitate commission interviews, which I see commissioners here are folks who have been in the process. That's all done through their office, and they publish legal notices to make sure that our community is aware of the important issues that are coming up to council. And they also just provide some services to the community in general. They provide a notary public. So if you ever need a notary, you can just come into the city manager's office and one of our clerks can assist you for a small state fee. And then they're also able to make copies and flyers for free. If any of you block leaders are having an event, you can go into the clerk's office and actually get copies and done so you don't have to go to Kinko's. We'll provide that service for you. They're there if you want to get involved. So if you want to run for city council or apply for a commission, you can certainly go to the clerk's office and talk to them about how that process works. And here's the contact information for Grace Schmidt, who is our city clerk. We also manage public affairs, and public affairs' main goal is to provide residents access to timely, engaging, and important information about city services, initiatives, and programs. Some of the key things that we do in public affairs is we publish the Cupertino Scene. How many of you guys read the Cupertino Scene? That is lovely to see. We spent a lot of work, especially over this past year, revamping the scene, so hopefully you'll see more images and a bigger format and something that is more appealing. And we're really focused on trying to get good stories and really good information out to all of you. We put a lot of information on our website, and also social media. If you want to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, or Nextdoor, you can usually find us at City of Cupertino. The website, the front page, is updated daily with new information on our services, so it's not a static website that's going to look the same every time you go to it. Right now, one of the first things you see is State of the City, because that is coming up next week. So we hope to see all of you there. And I also just want to mention that the site is now mobile friendly, so you can even see it nicely on your cell phone. Let's see. One more plug for Alert SEC, which is our program for residents to become aware of any emergencies. So this is a partnership with the county. The county transition to a new system. Cupertino was already using the Cupertino Alert System, CAS, but because the county decided to use the same program, we decided to merge. So we're in that transition. You may find a little bit of difficulty because some of the information was migrated over to Alert SEC and didn't migrate quite correctly, so you might need to go back in and kind of redo your login and password, but you should still be receiving some emails. Just in case, you can go back into alertsec.com and make sure that you are signed up so that you can get any alerts on emergency services. Upcoming events, again, State of the City, January 31st. There will be a luncheon right here that is normally a partnership with the chamber, and I think through the chamber you can get the lunch portion if you'd like to purchase lunch and come to that event. I believe the mayor will be talking about volunteerism at the luncheon event. There's also an evening event at 6:30 p.m. also here at Quinlan. That is free and open to both events are free and open to the public, but the 6:30 event will just be an audience seating with some snacks, and that the mayor will be talking about his priorities for the next year. Other things that are coming up are the Crest Awards. So the applications for the Crest Awards will be released by early next week. So we're switching the Crest Awards up a little bit. Instead of all being just general volunteer recognitions, we're actually putting different categories on. So we're going to have a Lifetime Achievement Award for a volunteer that has 10 plus years of volunteer work in the city. Individual Volunteer of the Year, Volunteer Organization of the Year, a Rising Star, which is maybe somebody who has just initially started their volunteer work with the city, Innovator of the Year, focused on technology, Public Safety Person or Champion of the Year, and Sustainability Champion of the Year. So if you believe that you know somebody who is doing great work in the city and deserves to be recognized, then watch out for those Crest Award applications and please nominate them. And with that, I will turn it over to our Sustainability Manager, Misty Mersich.
Hi, everybody. I'm here today to talk about the sustainability programs that are housed in the City Manager's office. First of all, the City of Cupertino is definitely committed to sustainability and working on programs that reduce our impact on the climate. We have a climate action plan that was created and implemented and is being implemented. It was created in 2015, and my division is in charge of kind of making sure that we're following that plan and doing the things that the council and the community wanted us to do within that plan. Since it was adopted, we've measured our greenhouse gas emissions in the community, and we've actually reduced them about 13% since 2010. So that shows a lot to our community, reducing energy, being efficient with the water use, following the water when we had the drought, reducing watering non-essential plants and landscapes, those kinds of things really impacted our community and helped us. Our goal is actually 15%, so we're pretty close there. We want to be at 15% around the year 2020. So I think that we'll be pretty close to that. Last year, the city worked and with other cities, 10 cities and the county, to implement Silicon Valley Clean Energy. Many of you might have gotten notices in the mail. This is the new default electricity provider that's providing electricity a little bit cheaper than PG&E, and it's carbon-free, so it's a lot cleaner than the electricity coming from PG&E. Happy to talk to you about any of that at the back table after this. One thing, let's see, one of the things I wanted to let you know about is we do partner with the Santa Clara Valley Water District. They have rebates, and what we do for Cupertino residents is we provide a little bit extra money to get a better rebate for our residents here. So we have a gray water, a laundry to landscape rebate. You can get up to $400 for the install of that. And then we also provide additional money for the lawn conversion, so for taking out your lawn and converting it to drought-tolerant landscape. So Cupertino residents now get $2 per square foot. Also wanted to let you know our department, we work on the Green Business Program. You might see this symbol in the storefronts around the city. There's actually about 50 plus. I think actually, this is a little old. Actually, I just did the numbers. It's about 60 certified green businesses in the city of Cupertino. And that's part of a California statewide green business program. They go through a certification process using non-toxic materials for cleaning and for other things, and also are committed to reducing energy and water within their business, reduce the amount of paper and other waste that they do. So I encourage you to check out the website and visit some of your local green businesses around. And with that, I think, I'm also the liaison to the Sustainability Commission. So if you're interested in that, I'm happy to talk to you about that. And with that, I will turn it over to Recreation and Community Services. Thank you.
Hi, how's everybody doing? Very good. I'm Christine Hannell. I'm the Assistant Director of Recreation and Community Services. I really don't need this. I'm pretty loud, so I apologize if I'm talking too loud. I'm happy to be here tonight. I'll let you know I'm doing double duty tonight. We have an event tonight at the Senior Center welcoming the new Cupertino Poet Laureate. And our director, Jeff Milks, unfortunately had to go out of town to deal with a family emergency. So I'm stepping in for him. But I just wanted to let you know that on the back table, my card along with Jeff's card are both available in case anybody has any questions, because I'll probably have to run out of here right when I'm done. So if you have any questions, Rochelle Sander, our acting recreation manager over here, will be happy to answer questions, as well as, like I said, don't hesitate to give me a call if you need to. My card's on the back table. So there are some exciting things happening in the world of recreation and community services. For those of you that might be a little surprised by that name, because we still have folks that are a little bit taken back by that, they're used to calling us Parks and Recreation, which so many agencies have been titled that. But there definitely has been a movement with name changes. And so in July 2014, we became Recreation and Community Services. And so the community services portion of that includes what Laura does with the Neighborhood Watch program, as well as we also have the Emergency Operations Division resides, as well as code enforcement. We also oversee 3 commissions for the city: the Teen Commission, the Parks and Recreation Commission, and the Library Commission. Okay, so what I'm going to do tonight is just highlight some exciting things that we have going on. And one item that I wanted to mention was that there was a recent purchase of the property at the corner right as you enter into Blackberry Farm, right at Byrne Avenue and San Fernando. And that's exciting for us because in the recent park and open space and recreation master plan that was identified as a need within the city to provide a safe pedestrian and bike path entering into Blackberry Farm. So that was a wonderful accomplishment for the city to obtain that property in the hopes of developing that into a safe entrance for that park facility. There's my little points there, which we'll move along here. So some upcoming and ongoing projects that we have. First of all, we began this process this past year in accomplishing our national accreditation. That is through the National Parks and Recreation Association. There's only 166 cities throughout the country that are accredited, and there are only 6 in California. This is a 2-year process, and we are hoping to be the 7th city in this state. I think that will definitely be a feather in our cap. And what this does is this, as a department, we will be improving effectiveness and efficiencies of the department, establishing policies throughout for our facilities and our programs. So that's an important piece here. As I said, it is a 2-year process, and we're in the first year of that. This year, we're also going to be implementing some new recreation software, and you're going to see this as a real improvement from a customer service standpoint. Now you'll have the ability to walk into various city facilities, the recreation facilities in particular, the Quinlan Community Center, the Sports Center, the Senior Center, and be able to register for programs or for reservations for parks. So for example, if you went into the Senior Center and you were registering for a class there, and it suddenly dawned on you, oh, I've got the grandkids coming this summer. Maybe I'll register for some swim classes. Or perhaps you wanted to reserve a picnic facility. You'd be able to do that. And right now, we're not able to do that. You have to go to each of the facilities. So that's going to be a wonderful improvement. We're tentatively scheduled to go live with that in fall 2018. Hopefully, you've heard about the Parks, Open Space, and Recreation Master Plan. That is, we're entering into the 2nd year of that process. It's been a very lengthy process, but it's a wonderful process because it's allowing us the opportunity to assess the facilities that we have and to reach out to the public to find out what it is that you want. So hopefully, a lot of you took part in the survey and were able to provide that feedback. And we're hoping in the spring, so stay tuned, that there should be a number of public workshops in which we'll be continuing to work on that. So stay tuned for that. I believe we have 17 CIP projects. Tim might correct that. I might be off on that in the upcoming fiscal year. And a lot of those CIPs may be things that you may not necessarily see. They might be some improvements to our infrastructure, but they're important to do that and to update and keep things fresh and new. There are some items, however, that you will be seeing as you're driving around town. One of them is there will be an electronic sign board going in on the outside of the Sports Center at the corner of Stelling and Stevens Creek. And we're excited about this because if you drive by now or you're sitting there at the corner, you'll see our rather old sign. I think it's from the 90s, right? Where staff actually has to go out there with their little tiles and actually manually put in the different letters to spell out whatever specials we might have going on. So it's going to be exciting to have an electric board there. We're also in the process of a community garden reset. And for those of you that may not be aware, we have a community garden out at McClellan Ranch Preserve, and we're in the process of gathering public input for the design stage. So this Saturday, actually, here at the Quinlan Center, I believe it's at 10 a.m., you can check the website, we will be having a meeting. So if any of you are interested, you have a desire to take part in a community garden, we would love to hear your input and what ideas you might have. There will be some senior center repairs coming up in the next several months. The entryway into the senior center was redesigned, and it'll be resurfaced to allow for better accessibility. The way it currently is designed is seniors that walk in through the main entrance are not covered, and there's pavers that don't allow for very smooth walk in. So if you're an individual in a wheelchair or with a walker, at times it can be a bit of a challenge. So we'll be making some improvements there that I think are long overdue at that facility. We're also starting the process of gathering information and input on an inclusive playground. And that is part of our park master plan, and that is something that, that we have been working on, and that actually initially stemmed from a group that was in our Leadership 95014 program. And one of our block leaders, Alicia here, was part of that group. And they identified a need for here in Cupertino to have a playground in which children of all abilities, as well as folks of all ages, can come and take part. And that is really exciting, and it's being modeled very similar to the Magic Playground that is in Palo Alto. So we're excited about that. That is just starting now. It's just a planning phase, but that's coming up. There was also recently a study done for International Cricket Field pitch, and we will be hearing the results of that, I believe, at our Parks and Rec Commission coming up, right, Gail? So stay tuned about that if you have an interest in hearing the results of that. I think that pretty much covers the CIP projects. Another exciting development in our department is a new hire that was just completed a few months ago, Claire Frankenvilla, who's in the back of the room. Claire, you want to give a wave? Claire was hired as our emergency operations coordinator. It's the first time the city has had this full-time position, and we're excited to have Claire here. She has information in the back table about the Alert SCC, which, as you know, is a really important program that we have in the city, in which it alerts residents of any upcoming emergencies and keeps you informed of the status of what is happening with those, so that you are able to receive information on your phones or text messages that would come. But Claire can give you some additional information regarding that. That concludes my presentation in terms of the highlights that we have. And I'm sorry, like I said, I do have to scoot out of here and run over to the Senior Center. I do want to introduce Rochelle Sander. Rochelle is our acting manager, and she is going to chat with you about a survey that we have coming up. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. So really quickly, you should have a survey on your table in the center. I've heard this is a room of great ideas, so I need your help. We are starting a new neighborhood-based events program. So what we're looking for from you guys is the type of events that you would like to see out at your neighborhood parks. Now, granted, it's going to depend on whether or not we have the ability to do certain things at certain parks, but on December 8th, we were able to do a movie out at Creekside. I'm not gonna lie, it was pretty cold, so we're looking for spring next time. But those are the kinds of things we'd like to start pulling out to some of the parks near you versus everything kind of being done here at Memorial. So if you guys wouldn't mind going ahead and filling these out and leaving them on your table for me at the end, I would love to hear what you have to say. And I am going to turn it over to our admin services, Christina.
Good evening. My name is Christina Alfaro. I'm the Director of Administrative Services, and this evening I'm going to go over some of the different things my department does. Primarily, we're responsible for the financial reporting, monitoring, and processing payroll for the city. So I've already introduced myself. With me this evening, I also have Zach Korak, who's our new finance manager, and you're going to find us on one of the back tables right over there should you have any questions regarding our presentation. I'll go over some of the things my department does. We're going to talk about exciting past and future projects. Sorry about that. We're also going to go over our newly revamped budget at a glance and try to take you on a quick tour of our financial transparency portal that the city set up a couple years ago. So when we go over what the Admin Services Department does, I know the name's a little misleading. What does it mean? We have 3 divisions. We have our Administration Division, we have our Finance Division, and our HR Division. Administration has budget oversight and direction, budget preparation and monitoring, and administers the overall administration functions for our department. Our Finance Division processes all financial transactions, including payables and receivables. They process our payroll. We do financial reporting, including the city's comprehensive annual financial report. And we also process business licenses for the city. In Human Resources, we do all HR functions, including but not limited to all recruitment, discipline, employee relation, benefits, workers' compensation, and training for the city. So some exciting past and future projects. We implemented an enterprise planning software, ERP for short, which basically means it's one whole software system that handles HR, payroll, budget, financials for the city that's all integrated. We went live with the finance and budget portion of that in December of 2014, and then live with the HR payroll portion in April of 2015. We also successfully negotiated 3-year contracts with all of the city's bargaining groups through June 30th, 2019, which is helpful to make sure we're recruiting and retaining the top talent here. As anybody trying to look for a job in the Bay Area knows, it's a very competitive market. In the coming year, we're going to be implementing NeoGov for recruiting and onboarding. So if anybody's looking to join the city, we're going to have a new revamped website and hopefully make it easier for people to apply for jobs with the city of Cupertino. We talked a lot about all the reporting that we do in my department, and you can find some useful documents at www.cupertino.org/budget, where you'll find our CAFR, our budget, and a quick little plug for our budget at a glance. I'm going to go over this just in a little bit more detail here in just a second, but we have a lot of these at the back table if you wanted to check them out. They're also available online. And like I said, we'll do a quick tour of our city's financial transparency portal. So budget at a glance. A couple things I want to highlight here. This used to be about half this size. And if anybody's ever seen our budget document, we have one in the back. It's about yay thick, and it's got a ton of great information. And we try to put it so it's easy to find. But we recognize that most people are not budget people, and there's certain things that are important to residents. And what we try to do with budget at a glance is try to put what we think is important at your fingertips. If there's something missing from this document that you think we should include, we're always open to feedback, so just let us know. Like I said, this year we went a little out there with it. We did some things that government generally doesn't do, which means we kind of stayed away from pie and bar charts. We did some infographics. We also did a page on our CIP, which previously we didn't discuss. It's got a great little map showing where some of the projects that have been approved this year are located. The other big piece that we did, and I won't go into too much detail, but we included this, what lovingly referred to as our spaceship chart. And what we tried to do with this chart, and there's a brief description of it, is describe what residents are contributing to the budget. So basically through your sales tax and property tax, and how we're using your dollars to fund city services, which I think is kind of an important piece that gets lost in a lot of budget documents. What's the impact that a resident is bringing, and what is kind of the bang for your buck for your tax dollars? So feel free to take a look at that. It's what I think is a really great chart and a really good graphic to get you informed on the budget. All right, I'm going to see if my link works here. So we have the city's transparency portal, financial transparency portal. We implemented this a couple years ago through a company called OpenGov. And so if you go to this link, cupertino.org/OpenGov. Okay. I'm not going to click around in here a lot because I can't actually see it when I'm when I'm clicking. But basically, it's our budget in an interactive form. So if you go in here and you click on any of these buttons, you can drill deeper into how Public Works is doing. You can see where our actuals are, how we're doing against our annual budget, different budget milestones, how we're actually spending against how we thought we were going to spend. There's also some save views over here to the left. that will give you kind of snapshots we've already created for you, but you can also go in and play with the data. You can't break anything in here. You can just go in there and click around, and it will give you detail up to the account level over multiple years. So you want to see what we're spending on law enforcement services over the last few years, you're able to come in here and view that. Over to the right, you can actually share. So if you create a graphic that you really like and you want to share on social media, you can go ahead and do that. You can email it to somebody. You can change the graph. So although we have a bar graph, you can see there's a pie graph and line graphs that you can do. You can break it out by singular department. So it's a fun little tool that basically takes not only this, but the very big budget book in the back, and lets you just click around and play with it to try to get the information that's important to you. And so it's a really exciting tool. We don't get to talk about it often outside of our budget presentation, so it's nice to be here. So we welcome anybody to go to the site, go play with it. If you're not getting what you need, email us. We're very responsive. Sometimes we may just send you back the chart you're looking for and tell you what we've clicked. But it's a really great tool that really, I think, empowers residents to kind of see where your money is being spent and how we're using the resources that you provide to the city. And that actually concludes my presentation. I'm going to hand it over to Arti Shrivastava, our Assistant City Manager / Director of Community Development, to go over what her department does.
Hello, everyone. I'm delighted to be here, and Laura will attest to this. We're always excited to connect with the Block Leader group because we see you all as sort of our connection to the city and neighborhoods where you can take information back from us. I know we've presented every year to you for quite a few years, and we always look forward to this. So I'm here as Director of Community Development tonight, and we have 5 divisions: planning, building, housing, economic development, and code enforcement. And our code enforcement section deals with the building code and the zoning code. Planning projects, a lot of them have to do with projects that you hear about. I'm sorry, I'm kind of yelling into the microphone, I think. And these are projects that you might have heard about, like Valco or Main Street or other projects, and I will go into some details today. The building department deals with structural. When you're ready to submit for your permit, you come in, and our inspectors and our plan checkers make sure that the building's going to stand and check it through the process to make sure it does that. Our housing division is mainly focused on affordable housing. We get a little bit of money from the federal government, and we collect funds in the form of developer fees to fund some affordable housing programs. And in addition to that, we also have a few affordable units that we administer, and we have a waiting list for that. So we're happy to give you more information if any of you are interested in that. Economic development, you might have gone to a few of the seminars that our economic development manager puts out. A lot of helping small businesses start up, where she's a liaison to our business group, all the way from the smallest restaurant to Apple. A lot of times they help disseminate information related to sustainability, a lot of new ordinances that might impact businesses, and also do a lot of business recruitment. And code enforcement, of course, is when we get complaints from people about an issue, we try to go out and resolve it. So here's how you can get involved with projects that are happening in community development. Go to our website. We've revamped that recently, and if you haven't been there recently, you'll be pleasantly surprised. It's a lot more user-friendly, and we've tried to make our projects front and center and easy to access. You also have the ability to sign up for e-notifications. We have individual projects or issues. If you're interested, sign up for that, and you will get an email every time we're updating a project website or making changes to certain ordinance items that you're interested in. Or you can email us at planning@cupertino.org, and we're happy to respond that way. So I'll go over a few projects. Some of them are already built, and some of them are in the sort of hopper, so to speak. Some of them are approved and are in the process of being constructed. I don't know how many of you, I imagine everyone's visited Main Street at some point or the other. As you know, we have, the retail's been up and running for quite a while. We've got restaurants up and new ones coming in. Some of the newer, the office, Apple's gone into the offices at the corner of Tantow and Stevens Creek Boulevard. The hotel is just opened, and so that's kind of exciting. It's a 180-room hotel. And we're always excited when these open up because then the revenue comes into our city instead of going to some other city. And we have a lot of, they're literally full up the day they open, so we know the demand is pretty high. We also have a 120-unit residential development that's going up, and that's kind of at the corner closer to Valco Parkway. So the town square is open. There are a lot of stores there. If you haven't been there, do visit. A lot of people are enjoying that. Some of our tenants include Lazy Dog, Phil's Coffee, Eureka, Alexander's has moved there, 85 Degrees. We've got many restaurants. The second project, and it's obviously sort of the big kahuna, so to speak, under construction and close to completion is the Apple Campus 2. And even though it isn't, I always tell people, a lot of our neighboring cities do larger projects in terms of square feet. I think in terms of oomph and having worldwide publicity, this project doesn't match any other. It's head and shoulders above that. So one exciting thing for residents and people, the public, is that they have opened an Apple store. It's at the corner of Tantow and Prune Ridge, and you can go in there. There's also an Apple Cafe that you can eat at. So it's the only Apple store with a cafe, and if you've got visitors coming who want to see the Apple campus, there's a viewing gallery. You can go up to the first floor to the and go look at the campus across the street. So it's kind of a fun place if you haven't been there. They also have a neat model that they give you these iPads that you can use to view different parts of the model. I can't describe it well enough, but you have to go see it. So do visit and buy things rather than going to Valley Fair. Another project that's kind of tucked away in the corner, if any of you remember, well, we all do remember JCPenney's, but across from JCPenney's, towards the freeway, there's a project that's coming up. And if any of you have wondered what that is, it's actually a Hyatt House Hotel that was approved years ago, but it takes a while for them to get financing and up in construction. So it's 148 rooms with a restaurant, bar, and conference rooms. If you're all wondering about a little project that's happening at a previous gas station on Foothill Expressway, there are 6 townhomes that are coming up there with 5 detached workspaces. So those are the modern-looking buildings that you see along Foothill Expressway. There's also a 15-apartment unit project coming up on Foothill on the other side, close to, I think it's across the street from Cristo Rey. 2 stories. The Hamptons, of those of you who are familiar with the apartment buildings adjacent to the new Apple campus, they actually were approved last year to replace the existing units with a very different kind of project. Their units are going to be much smaller, and there's going to be a net of 600 additional apartment units going up there. Probably a decent location. People can walk across to the Apple campus. We're hoping to reduce traffic any way we can. And for those of you who are interested in the school district, that's Santa Clara. Another project that was approved recently by the council is at Marina Plaza. That store is proposed to be replaced with, as well as Mandarin Gourmet, with 188 apartment units, a hotel, and the Mandarin Gourmet site, and about 22,600 square feet of retail. And we've talked to the owner about bringing in some of the uses that existed, some of the tenants who were there to start with. The Forum is going to make some additions and renovations. They're going to add, that's up on Cristo Rey Drive by Oak Valley. And they're proposed to include 25 new independent living villas, 36 beds, and do a fair amount of renovation to their public spaces. The Verandas is a 19-unit affordable senior housing project. It's across the street from Main Street, kind of one site over from the Coffee Bean, for those of you who remember. And we're very excited to bring this because it's very hard to be able to build affordable housing units. And this is a good partnership between the city, Charities Housing, and tax credits, as well as Measure A. Some of you may have voted for that measure last year that brought in close to $1 billion in affordable housing funds. So we're hoping to bring 18 senior affordable units to the city. Finally, I'm going to introduce Valco and introduce our planner, Katarina Kidd, who's going to be shepherding this project through, and she's going to talk a little bit about what it is and also how you can get involved. Just as an intro, I know a lot has happened with Valco, but we're doing a Valco reset. The city is now taking the lead to draw up the zoning document, so to speak, to talk about what is the community vision for this area and set that zoning in place. We've already hired the consultant and had sort of a kickoff meeting with the council in December, and we're excited to start the community participation process. And Katarina will walk you through a few slides, and also we're happy to answer questions at the back of the room if you have any after all of our presentations. Thank you.
Thank you for the opportunity to, that is a little loud, I'm sorry. Thank you for the opportunity to introduce this process to you. As RT said, this is a reset of the Valco specific plan, and we're hoping to have in this round a community-led design process. So just in summary, what is a specific plan? I think RT alluded to that quite a bit. It's essentially setting up the design standards and land use standards for that area of town and of the community. And we hope that we want to invite all of you to participate. In fact, I'm so impressed by just the number of block leaders in this room. I think it's very impressive. So I hope we can bring that energy to make Valco what you all expect it to be. So something's coming soon that you want to save the date and keep an eye out for. The first, of course, you already heard about e-notification. If you aren't already signed up for e-notification, we can help you sign up tonight, where you can check Valco or whatever box you want to check as far as getting notices about upcoming events. If you do already subscribe to the e-notification through the city website, we will be announcing soon in the next several days the project website, which will be envisionvalco.org, and our consultants will be maintaining that website. So they'll be updating it very often as far as the new materials, things that are available, so you don't really have to dig through the website and find it. It will be in one place. The second that we wanted to bring to your attention was a request to save the dates. We have some upcoming design workshops. They're also known as charrettes. You'll hear that word, but it's essentially a public design workshop. And April 9th to 13th is the first one. We'll be having a second one, May 21st to 25th. They are going to be Monday through Friday, and a complete drop-in format so that we can accommodate as many people as possible and accommodate your schedules. And that will be at City Hall. Another opportunity is we're going to have our planners on tour this spring. Our planners, and it isn't just for Valco, it's to get information out to the community about what's going on around the community in terms of planning. Please look for us. We'll be at the Creekside Farmers Market on Friday mornings, approximately once a month. We'll be there. We'll be posting our dates, what day we'll be out at the market. February 16th is our first date. We wanted to put out the idea if one of you would like to host what we call a civic dinner. And we've got consultants who are working with us on including as many people as possible. Some folks just aren't able to get to public hearings, or they're not able to get to some of these workshops based on their schedule and so forth. And we'd like to tailor information around what works for you as neighborhoods or as communities. And please feel free to stop by our table and talk about that a little bit more. There will be dates and other locations to be announced through our website and our social media outlets. We have a really brief specific plan timeline, just to give an idea of what's happening. You'll see the blue line at the top, which is our goal for 2018, is to make sure that the information for Valco is constantly available, and that will be happening, the community outreach and dialogue throughout 2018. We're looking forward to a late summer, early fall public hearings for those items. And you'll see in green, the track at the bottom. Again, we can answer more questions at our table, but we'll be doing environmental review as part of that process throughout 2018. Lastly, I'd like to talk about community interviews. You'll hear about an event coming up. Right now, we're looking for some volunteers to participate in the group community interviews. We have a sign-up sheet in the back. We do have the first date set up as February 6th at 6 p.m., but please do not worry if that date doesn't work for you. If you come talk to us at the back of our table, we would be glad to facilitate or set up something, especially for your neighborhood, if that's something you would like to host. So that concludes my presentation. Please come visit us. Thank you. Terry Gerhardt, GIS Manager, will be up next.
So hi, I'm Terry Gerhardt, the GIS Manager for the City of Cupertino. Unfortunately, Bill Mitchell, thank you, our CTO is not able to attend tonight. He's under the weather, Innovation and Technology group tonight will focus on citizen engagement. But before I start my presentation, I want to introduce Benny Shea, a new member of our team. He's the infrastructure manager right over here. Thanks. So as you can imagine, a city is made up of almost entirely of location-based data. That's everything from parks to trees and roads and buildings. The GIS department is tasked with capturing, managing, analyzing, and displaying all these types of spatial data for the city. We put all that data into a easily understood format, a map. These maps are interactive, web-based applications, apps. We build these applications for our internal staff so that they can manage the city in various ways. But we also have many web maps for our citizens. On our GIS portal, you'll see a number of citizen engagement applications, everything from property info to capital improvement projects to development activity map and many more. But tonight I want to focus on two of the latest that we've implemented just in the last year. Our Service Finder application and Service Finder application and Cupertino 311. So Service Finder, there we go, was a interactive map that was built to show our citizens all the services that Cupertino provides. So real quickly, starting from the City of Cupertino homepage, you'll see just below the banner here are quick links to different city records, permits, Parks and Rec. Right here you'll see the map icon. If I go ahead and click on that, it'll bring me to the Service Finder application. First thing you notice is the map of Cupertino, and then over on the left-hand side, we have layers of information, items such as upcoming events in the next 30 days. From here, I can click on these events and get more information, the location. It zooms to the location. I get the time and date, and then there's a link to more information there. I have community facilities. I have parks and recreation. What's nice about this one is I can actually narrow it down by activity. So say I am interested in playing soccer. I can quickly see that there are 3 parks in Cupertino that have soccer fields. From here, I can zoom to one of the parks and see, okay, it has some other amenities. There's a restroom, there's a playground, picnic benches. The crime reports in the last week, that's always an interesting one to look at. And it's broken down by different categories: assault, property crime, homicide. As Misty was saying earlier, we have the green businesses located in Cupertino. Electronics charging stations, fire and sheriff, schools, bike routes, road closures, VTA bus routes and stops, and so on. So it's a great handy map to check out all those great services the city provides. From here, you can go back to our city's homepage. You can go to the GIS portal and check out some of those great citizen engagement apps, or you can go to 311, and we'll go to 311. It's Cupertino 311. So this is a non-emergency direct line to the city of Cupertino to submit requests for service. These are things like potholes, say there's a sprinkler broken in a park, a street light that's out. Those are items that you can report to us. This is an app, but we do have a web page. You can quickly submit a request, look at nearby requests. There's a quick how to use the application and a frequently asked questions. And then down below, this is a great reference link section we've put together for questions that have come into us through this application. Maybe you're interested in one of the agencies that actually cover some of the services in our city, like Caltrans or Santa Clara Valley Water District. We also have links to our own website for code violations, permit parking, business license application, that kind of thing. So I am going to quickly switch over to my phone and show you how to use the app. So to download the app, you want to go to the Apple Store or Google Play Store and type in Cupertino 311. I think it takes a second to come up on the monitor. There we go. So as you can see, there's a first button you see is create a request. And then it prompts you to enter a report type. I'm going to say I saw graffiti on the way in this evening. As you can see, the map, the GPS on my phone locates me on the map. I can say that's the right location. And then it says, tell us more. Was this graffiti on public or private property? Since it's a city building, I'll say that's public property. And then you wanted to give a description. Now, you always want to give the most descriptive information you can so that we can locate the issue as soon as possible. Let's see. Okay, and then the next prompt is type issue. I'm going to say city building. Done. And then it's going to ask me for a photo. Here I can enter a photo I have existing on my phone, or I can take a photo, take a video. I will quickly take a photo. Looks pretty good. I'll go ahead and use that photo. So I can add additional photos if I want to give more detail there. Now it's asking me to mark as sensitive. Since it's a public issue, I'm going to leave that unmarked. But if your request is a private issue, you can mark as sensitive, and that will stay, the communication will stay between the citizen and the staff member. So then I would go ahead and submit that request. I'm not going to do that because I don't want to send them a false request. But what happens is that request goes directly into the system, and once our Cupertino 311 sees that request, it will go ahead and send an email back to the citizen saying your request has been submitted. And again, because this is a non-emergency issue, our staff will receive it first thing in the morning. And what's nice about all of these prompts is that it really pinpoints down to exactly the department that manages those requests. So we can get out there as quickly as possible and mediate the issue. And once they do that, they close out the case, let you know that they've removed that graffiti or fixed that light, and then you'll get that notice that it was repaired. So thank you very much. If you have any questions, we'll be over at the Innovation and Technology table. But next up, I want to introduce Nidhi Mathur, our Applications Manager for Innovation and Technology Department.
Well, my name is Nidhi Mathur, and I'm part of the Innovation and Technology Department and Application Division. The division is responsible for implementing all enterprise applications like ERP, which Christina talked about, the application which is our HR and our finance department uses, as well as the land use management application, which our planning, building, and public works department, as well as, pretty soon we'll be implementing, helping recreation department implement their new Parks and Rec application. We are also responsible for all our online applications, quite a few of them, like our garage sale application, residential permit parking application, as well as we have also done some few mobile apps for all of you, all our Cupertino residents. So one of the things which all my colleagues talked about was the New City website. I hope you have seen, if you've gone and visited the New City website. We launched it in May last year, end of May, and the emphasis for the new website was open and transparent government. That was the overarching goal, and we also wanted to make the site more accessible and easy to find information, whatever our resident and website visitors is looking for. So we divided all the content into 3 main buckets. So if you are visiting the Cupertino site, either you are the resident, or you're a business owner, or you actually are a visitor of Cupertino. So we were hoping to link it from those 3 high-level buckets. So most of the content, if people want to browse that way. One of the things we also did was we enhanced our search functionality of the site. So we have Google search, and the big emphasis on this time for our site launch was mobile friendliness. So our site is much more accessible, mobile. We have around 40% of our current visit. Actually, we see in our metrics and our analytics that we're having 40% of the site visits coming from mobile platform, either from tablets or phones. So the emphasis for us was to make our site more mobile friendly. And one of the things which Terry kind of actually showcased was we also did our numbers, and we found out which are our most heavily visited pages are. We wanted to make them right in the center of the home page. So our most visited pages were people were trying to get this agenda of a council meeting, or wanted to go to our recreation page, and wanted to see different permits like information. So we made it very easily accessible so people can easily find them. We also did a survey after the launch around end of and we ran the survey till end of the year. And out of all the responses we had a pretty high positive response rate. So, and we are still looking to get feedback. So if any one of you has any feedback of the city website, we are on the right side of the room, this side of the room. I would love to talk to you about it. So again, the responsive design and mobile friendliness was the things which we were really emphasizing on this version of the site. So another initiative which we actually have been working on over the last few years and we continue to work on is our open data portal. We want to, again, keeping in line of open data, open transparency and open government. I think we have few different sites which actually have open data sets which any public can look at and see. OpenGov, which Christina talked a little bit about, she showcased you was all our financial data and budget information. We also have a platform called Junar, where we are actually depicting all our city of Cupertino demographic data and our some infrastructure data. And we also have another portal, GIS, Open Data Portal, which has a lot of development, property and transportation and recreation related data. So last couple of years, we actually we launched our land use management application. And one of the big focus for that launch was Cupertino going paperless. So now our planning and our building department they actually can intake the applications digitally. So this particular enterprise application helps us do that. And also once the application is with the city staff, they actually use another application called Project Docs, where they do the markup of all the digital plan review digitally. So, we are saving a lot of trees going with this application. We are also looking to actually enhance those with a newer application which we are working on right now for our land use. And you will see some more additional features like the new portal, which we will be launching soon once we are ready to launch that application. And again, this application is used by our planning department, our building department, and public works. Mobile apps is the category which we have done some work on and we are continuing to work on. We have few mobile apps, Mobile 95014, which we launched 3 years back and is up for a revision. But the app which we are currently working on is called Ready 95014. It's a preparedness app. And the whole idea was to actually share preparedness information by making it more fun. So we have kind of gamified that app. So through playing a game, user of that app will know how to actually build a preparedness kit. So we are very close to launching this. You will be able to see this app in App Store in a few weeks. And first we'll launch the iOS version and then we'll work on the Android. And this particular mobile app also has, you can set up your reminders to change your preparedness kit, check on it if it needs to update your kit. and you can set up out-of-area contacts, as well as it has information about ARCs. These are some of the projects we are currently working on, and we have many more, but I wanted to share these with you today. And thanks for giving your time. Next up is Pete Coglanese from Video Division. Pete? Thank you.
All right, my name is Pete Coglanese. I'm with the City of Cupertino Video Division. Video Division is a rather old department here at the City of Cupertino. We were established back in 1982. That's when the City Channel first went on the air, the oldest government access channel in the county. And I've been with the city almost as long, just to subtract a couple of years from that. So anyhow, the Video Division is an interesting division, and in fact, when we were rehearsing this presentation tonight, a lot of my coworkers in my very department, other divisions, didn't even realize that we did so much. So hopefully this will be kind of an educational experience for everyone. So first up, just give you a quick overview of what we do in the Video Division. First off, mention the City Channel. That is our government channel available on Comcast Channel 26 and AT&T UVerse Channel 99. We're on the air 24/7. We just did a metric. We realized that we produced 3,000 hours of original programming during the last fiscal year, which is pretty impressive. And we also stream that live, and we're looking to develop technologies to make that more accessible through social media apps or through just online streaming as well. In fact, that's I think probably be the future of TV. You'll be watching more online than actually sitting in your living room, the traditional way of watching it. So we're trying to develop the channel right now to meet some of the new technology trends. Radio Cupertino, if you're aware, we have a radio station. It's 1670 AM. It first went on the air in March of 2007. It's a community radio station where we try to update the news, traffic information, weather, but it's also our emergency alert station. So if there was ever a really critical emergency, perhaps the cell phone system was overloaded or the infrastructure for the internet was down, we have a resilient system in Radio Cupertino. We also manage our online video services. Those include all the video platforms that you're familiar with: YouTube, Facebook Live, YouTube Live. There's new ones out there, and we're constantly exploring different ways to develop our online presence. In addition to those public-facing services, we do provide videography, photography, and aerial photography for all of our city departments. And that could be just anything by helping our GIS department with some aerial map photography or going out and shooting things for the general plan document. We're there for all the city departments. We also do graphic design work and maintain our digital signage network, which you may have seen out here in some of the lobbies. That's known as our Scala system, and we keep the information available and up to date. And then finally, we do some employee events and training videos, and we're constantly working with our HR department and also doing some fun activities with our fellow city employees just to keep things interesting. And on top of that, we do audiovisual design and maintenance. So that's kind of the conference room type, setups with projectors and where you plug in your laptop, and even this room here, multi-purpose rooms like this. And we're going to be doing some interesting things. I'll mention that in just a moment here. So quickly, let's take a look at what we're doing right now in terms of video production services. I know we're a little bit behind time, so I'll go through this fairly quickly. Election programming is coming up again. Last election cycle in 2006, we did I think 12 special election programs, and we're going to be doing the same again in this year, 2018. We just started to televise in the last year Silicon Valley Clean Energy Authority and State Route 85 meeting broadcasts, in addition to the city meeting broadcasts. So we do that as a public service. We entered into a partnership with our library, our public library, to televise some of their library events. So if you've ever attended those, you know those are very timely. They have a really good speaker series, and we're on board to continue to work with the library on that. I know our public affairs group talked about the CREST Awards program. We actually work very closely with our public affairs division. We have weekly meetings in developing public content, not just on the website and our social media in the scene, but also that same type of messaging goes out on our TV channel, our radio station, and we're constantly working on marketing the city, informing people about what's going on, as well as various campaigns we do throughout the year. One of the events that's coming right up next week is the State of the City address. We're working with Mayor Darcy Paul right now, helping to develop his message. We're working on a multimedia type show related to that, so hopefully you'll all be able to attend. There's going to be 2 shows, one at lunch, that's co-sponsored by Rotary and the Chamber, and also one in the evening this year. It's on the 31st at 6:30 p.m. right here in this room. And we will be televising that live, streaming it live on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, and on the City Channel as well. And one other exciting thing that we just started this last year is we're starting to videotape and develop all of our programming in 4K, which is a higher, if you're familiar, it's a higher resolution format. So that's just keeping trends with the technology today. So we'll be archiving all of our videos in the future in the 4K format. Next up, I mentioned Radio Cupertino, 1670 AM. This is its 11th year on the air, and some of the things we've just done related to that, we upgraded the power backup system so that it is on a 2 to 3 day resilient backup system, in addition to the generator system of the City Hall. That means if everything goes down, even the power grid goes down for 48 hours or more, our radio station will stay on the air and we'll be able to update you with emergency information. As Nidhi just mentioned, we're updating the Ready 95014 app, and we will continue to provide live streaming of the radio station on that app. And we added a secondary live streaming site as well, again, as a resilient backup site. And finally, we introduced what's called Simian Gateway, which is the actual name of the application that allows us to remotely access our radio station playlists. So if we can't even get into the building, or if we're not even on site, if an emergency happens at night, now we're able to actually get messaging out immediately on the radio station by this remote access. Let's take a look at some of the other projects we're working on. Online video services. Let's see, we have live streaming and high definition. Oh yeah. Periscope, Facebook Live, YouTube Live. We have a historical digital archiving project that's happening right now, so you'll see a lot of our old material that we've developed over the years now available. And we're researching new online video platforms. And finally, I mentioned we're doing AV design and maintenance work. Video control room rebuild we just finished. We just did a community hall technology overhaul. We're going to be looking at all the conference rooms citywide. We just completed a fiber to service center project, and we're working on technical systems documentation. So you can see we're doing a lot, and I wish we had more time to discuss it, but our final speaker tonight is our own Director of Public Works, Tim Borden. Take it away, Tim. Thanks.
Thank you, Pete. So I'm Tim Borden, Director of Public Works. And let's get going here. Okay. So Public Works in most cities, it's hardly ever the same if you go from city to city. It's comprised of different services. If you go to San Jose, it includes animal control. It may include airports, water pollution control plants. I'm going to talk a little bit about what Public Works is in Cupertino tonight, drill down on some of those services, what they mean to you, and how you can best connect with those services. So first, this is our org chart, but I'm really going to drill down on these highlighted boxes tonight. I'm going to talk about our environmental programs division, which is our garbage, recycling, our stormwater areas. our service center, where this is a very connected and involved group here tonight. But a lot of citizens in Cupertino, if they don't, they may not have any reason to get into City Hall. They may not get over at Quinlan much. So they know the city of Cupertino is the orange shirts that you see out in your parks, at the facilities. That is really where a lot of people connect with the city of Cupertino, is through the people wearing those orange shirts. So it's a very professional group, and I'm going to talk about everything that they do. Our capital improvement program, so that is something that I'll be having on our back table back there, but it's also online. It talks about all of our current approved budgeted projects. It'll give you a status report of where those are, whether they're in conceptual design or construction design, where they're at, how much they cost, how you can get involved with upcoming community meetings. So there's a lot of information that you can learn from the capital improvement program. Terry also talked about GIS. You can look there online. You can see a map that shows where all these projects are if you're more visually oriented that way. Our city engineer oversees our development services section that connects a lot with community development, RT's group. So with building and planning, we're in there making sure that new development supports itself with infrastructure necessary for that development, whether it's streets, storm drains, sidewalks, whatever it may be. And then our transportation division, which in the past, many years ago was all about the cars, but we're really focused right now on making that all modes of travel. So that's going to be cars, pedestrians, bicycles, transit, and really taking all those seriously as far as sharing the public right-of-way. Okay, so first I'll talk about our service center, which is some of you know it as a corporation yard. It's down at the end of Mary Avenue, right by the Don Burnett Bridge. We have about 60 maintenance workers out there, and they're grouped into these 4 sections. Our streets division, which is making sure that we don't have potholes that you're going to be on 311 about. We've really come a long ways in about the last 5 years, so that our streets are really in some of the finest condition. And if you look in the entire county, we've gone. I think we're the most improved player. So we're way up there as far as our pavement condition index relative to some of our neighboring cities now. Streets also includes our street light system. So a lot of these services you're going to be connecting with 311. If you see a street light that is out, you can tell us about it on 311. If you do see a pothole, we want to know about it right away. If you see a broken curb or gutter or sidewalk, we rely on you to do that. You're our inspectors, because we're not out there walking our 240 miles of sidewalks all the time. So if you see what you think is a dangerous condition, where there's a sidewalk that's broken, uplifted, we'd like you to tell us about that through the 311. Our trees and right-of-way section, we have 15,000 trees in Cupertino, and those we know better than our curb, gutter, and sidewalk. We know where those 15,000 trees are. We know the species, and we have a schedule where we go out there and do routine maintenance. We're also looking for you, though, if you see broken branches, if you think that there is a dangerous condition, tell us about it. We're very interested in knowing, and we'll get out there and take a look and fix it. Our grounds division is taking care of all the sports fields that we have at some of our schools, where we take care of the grounds in exchange for being able to use those school grounds after school, and all of our parks. And then our fleet and facilities division that takes care of all of the white vehicles that you'll see going through the city, and also all of the equipment, the lawnmowers, and everything, all of what we call the rolling stock that takes care of the city. Okay, just some numbers with our streets division: 142 center lane miles of streets, and almost 10,000 traffic-related signs. We have a very good sign shop. We make our own signs. And we keep those reflective, so we're out constantly maintaining. We have a cycle where we're maintaining our signs as well, so you can see them clearly. 2,200 storm drain inlets and 3,200 street lights. So you can see some of these numbers. We also manage the street sweeping program. That's a contract sweeper, but we treat them like our own. It is ours. We're paying for it. So if you see a problem with the street sweeping, let us know that. We'll happily and quickly try and remedy that situation. And crossing guards, we manage that contract through our streets group as well. Our grounds division, like I said, there's 19 parks and open spaces consisting of about 132 acres. We like to take very good care of our parks, and some of the turf, through the drought, we've reduced some of the turf to really be focused in some of the areas where we have sports fields, active areas. You'll see around City Hall, we changed out a lot of that turf to be a more natural landscape. I think it looks pretty good. We also take care of Memorial Park, McClellan Ranch Preserve, and then there are 9 school athletic fields that I mentioned consisting of 52 acres. And we do utilize our weekend work furlough program as well to help us out with some of those maintenance activities. Trees and right-of-way, I mentioned 15,000 public trees. And annually, it's our goal to plant more than have to be removed. So every tree has a lifespan, so we are having to go out there and remove, some species that aren't as desirable. Maybe they're out there lifting curb gutters and sidewalks, so we do have to remove some, but we're trying to put it more in every year. Medians, we take good care of our medians in Cupertino, we think, and we're out there putting up holiday lights. We're trying to renovate them, putting in fresh material. So I think our medians are really looking pretty good. Fleet and facilities. So this is largely taking care of buildings such as this. So we're taking care of Quinlan, City Hall, we take care of the library, even though the county runs the library, we take care of that building. All the buildings in Cupertino, we take care of those. And then also, like I said, all of our vehicles. Our transportation division, so we are ensuring safe and efficient mobility for all people. We're consistently and constantly out there evaluating and mitigating traffic impacts of new developments. So, I think everyone's waiting to see what's going to happen with Apple. I think that we've done a lot of improvements in preparation for that, but we'll constantly be monitoring and making adjustments. And Apple's been good at helping us do those improvements as well. And then we are really hard at work in implementing our 2016 bicycle transportation plan. So a lot of you may have seen all the different workshops that we've had for our bike boulevards. So we broke that up into areas of the city, had a lot of workshops over the last 4 or 5 months. We're also having some trail workshops where we've had we had a walk shop, as we called it, and a workshop on the Regnart Creek Trail. We're working on the Junipero Cerro Trail, which goes over right along Highway 280. So doing a lot of work there, and also looking, I think you've probably all noticed a lot of the green bike lanes and what we call the buffered bike lanes throughout the city. We have a new program, it's probably about 3 years old now, called our Safe Routes to School program. A lot of communities have this. This has been very successful, very quick for us. So we are fortunate to bring on a coordinator that has a lot of energy. She kind of fits in with the kids that she's working with. She looks like one of the kids, but she does a great job working with parents, administrators, and really engaging them, doing walk audits to try and improve drop-off situations, getting kids and parents more comfortable going to school, walking and biking. So that's very quickly becoming a success. I have a lot of material that I'll be able to share with you on the back table on this program as well. Environmental programs. So, I think that a lot of school kids in Cupertino connect with this either through creek cleanups or some of our, the tabling that we'll do at various festivals. So they'll be talking about non-point source pollution, which is, making sure that our storm drains and our creeks are clear of litter and debris. So lots of programs to do creek cleanups, put filters in our storm drain system, have maintenance programs to keep that water clean. And then resource recovery, which is really, it's our solid waste and working with Recology, who's our franchise hauler. And what we're trying to do there, our goal with Recology is to have less and less go to the landfills. So that's why you'll see all these trio receptacles so that people can learn and it becomes natural to sort that trash so that less and less, eventually, ideally nothing will go to the landfill. Capital improvement program, so this can be very small projects like tennis court resurfacing. It's important, but that's some of the work we're doing, all the way to we building the Don Burnett Bridge, building a new library. So it can be very small projects to very large projects, but it's getting these projects that some are necessary, some are just kind of enhancements to the community. That working with the community to scope those and make sure that they are going to hit the mark as far as what the community is looking for, and then efficiently building those projects. And development services is really our permitting part of public works. Like I said, we work very closely with community development, planning and building in getting private development through their processes. And that's it. So with that, I'll just go ahead and turn it back to David.
Thanks, Tim. As you can see, we have a lot going on in the city, and I think we're frankly blessed. I think we have the best staff in the county, if not in the Bay Area. And I appreciate all the work they do and the creativity they bring to their work and the service they provide to the community. I know you probably have questions about some of the various things we're doing, the new bike lane program, the new summer events that we're planning to do, the Valco process. So we're all here back in the back of the room to answer your questions. Please stay as long as you want. We'll stay as long as you have questions. And Laura has a couple of announcements she wants before we wrap up.
All right. Thank you so much, David. Wow. That's all I can say, right? That's all you're thinking. Wow. Lots of stuff. I'm so impressed by our staff, so talented, capable, approachable. So thank you so much for staying with us and presenting. A couple of quick announcements. The survey, please do complete your neighborhood program surveys. We'd love to have your feedback. Also, you will see a really small little survey about this program, and we love to have your feedback on that. That's Block Leader survey. So there's two different things going on here. And I'm going to throw in a third because things go in threes, right? So the third is we do have an annual survey that's been going around. I've attached it to our newsletter. I sent it out separately as well, and I really am hoping for your feedback. So if you have not completed it, I'm going to send another email with an attachment again very soon, because my manager, who will be coming back from maternity leave, wants me to connect with every single one of you. So please help me out with that. Just tell me your thoughts, how much you've enjoyed the program, and what needs improvement. We're all ears for that. April will be our next meeting. It's our appreciation, and it's at the latter part of April, and we would love to see you. We'll be going strong for 16 years. You can imagine that. 16 years ago, my son was a year old, and I'm sending him off to college next year. Oh my God. Okay, so I know many of you have been there before. I'm a newbie, so anyway, prayers, please. Appreciate you sitting in your reporting zones. My fellow coworkers may not realize that we do sit in reporting zones so we can connect as neighbors. So thank you for doing that. Please remember to turn in your name tag so we can reuse it. And finally, enjoy the evening. I'll be in touch, and please take advantage of the resources here tonight. Thank you again.